your story is pretty incredible. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if I landed a movie like Terminator when I was 14 years old. I was the most immature kid. I'm 51, and people think, dude, you act like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't imagine. Ryan just nods his head. Dick. But I just can't imagine. It's like, and you came from, you were poor growing up?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was like, I mean, I feel like it's funny. Like my parents weren't in the business. No one, whatever. I grew up in Highland Park. Well, Highland Park's changed a lot, but it was, different back then. And, and I did. I had a pretty crazy childhood, growing up. When I look back now, it was like, wow, what the fuck? But I mean, I guess it was all happening. But yes, I think like when you're that age, like I would not recommend it to my kid. My kid doesn't want to do anything with acting anyway, so that's
right.
That's good. It's a lot, Like I guess when you're older, you kind of understand things more and understand how the business works,
and also that we all get dealt a certain cards.
Yeah.
And that, some of us are more fortunate or less fortunate than others. And you look back, a lot of it, like I always say, I'm dealing with this thing with my family right now where, there wasn't that unconditional love. There wasn't, I'm proud of you. You're a good kid. You're going to be this. There wasn't any, zero, none of that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you grew up rich or poor. If you don't have that, you're probably not going to end up, chances are you're going to end up kind of a fuck up. If you don't have that, you're going to seek it in different places. And,
Yeah.
and did you get that?
So it's like, when I started Terminator, I'd essentially just ran away from home at that point. So like
at 14,
at 13,
you ran away from home and they didn't come looking for you
later on. I mean, it's
complicated.
It's complicated. It's really complicated. And, actually like I've built a wonderful relationship with my mom now,
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, there were so many circumstances. There was, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there was abuse. There was like, addiction in my family. There was, mental illness. There was a lot. And yeah, I think you're kind of, primed when that's when you're developing.
And that's all you know.
And all you know.
You're a product of your own environment.
100%.
100%. And I 100% know that.
Yeah.
And that's hard. But it sounds like your mom, I'm assuming, since you have a great relationship, has apologized for all these things.
Yes.
She acknowledges it.
Yes. And we've talked, and my mom had me when she was 17 years old, you know what I mean? And I had an alcoholic, stepdad and all this stuff. And I used to hold on to a lot of anger at it for a long time. I think in a lot of ways because I did like want to have something to blame my
drug use or
my own problems on. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm like that. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
We all do that. And then one day we're like, how long can we do this for?
100%. Yeah.
It's like, are we going to live our life or are we going to live in the past? Because that's what I had been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
So all the things I would do, I'm like, well, it's because this. That's because this. It's like, you're accountable.
Yeah. It's like your whole identity becomes that you're like broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. And that took me a long fucking time to get to the point where I was like, you know better though. You know what I mean? You know better. And you've learned. And thank God that, I had some good people in my life. And, it's like, yeah, but that was like my whole identity. And as time went on, I understand my parents more than I did back then, which is, they were broken. They were coming from like fucked up situations. There was a lot of terrible things happening in my family at the time. We all mess up, I mean, the fact is, I think learning that, I got addicted to heroin,
How old?
oh man, I got addicted to heroin back in my 20s, like back in the early 2000s. I got addicted for like a couple of years, stopped, didn't get fully sober, just kind of like coasted for a while, started messing with coke and shit again. I was a heroin addict, when I had my kid, you know what I mean? So it's like I started realizing like none of us are perfect and we all like make big mistakes and just kind of I don't know, yeah, humility, I guess, cuz it's like,